You want to send to the group that we're on? You could send to them?
Yeah.
See this guy? Great guy.
Because I'm becoming like a man for the show, you know?
Right.
I have to pay monthly like an increase. And the place they have around and they have to give you insurance stuff and something like that.
Yes, well, yeah.
All that.
We'll figure that
They're
out.
gonna say, oh, another day it's okay for the insurance for the day. Because okay, I give it to you, whatever it is.
Well, online, they want to make sure that you're being taped. Everything you say is it's not. It's not. Oh, it's not. It's on live. It's being saved. What are they going to say? No, I'm not. I'm a Friedman. I'm not Rabbi Fried. You have morning. How are you? We're about to give a class. You have $4.
Yeah. And back where I know the author about painting.
Good. It's beautiful. You want to give me $3? $3. Beautiful.
Rabbi Friedman, right?
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
Have a good Shabbat.
I'm
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second. You texted the group that we're on?
Yeah.
Fine. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Okay. Morning.
No.
Morris, how are you?
How are you, Rabbi?
Good to see you. What did you say? I know. I see Morris is on. Morris looks like you look like you're by a sukkah.
Hey, I want to see Rabbi. I'll show you. Ready? Look.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look how beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the best class.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think you should give the class from over there. Okay. Very good. Okay. I always like to see smiles on the screen. Always good to see. Okay. Good morning, everybody. We're running a little late. Chodesh Tov. We're the Gemara that we're doing is a Mem Gimel and Aleph. We're discussing the different brachos on different fragrances, and you should know this beautiful Aruch HaShulchan that I want to share with everybody regarding these laws. Aruch HaShulchan says the following. He's going to quote our Gemara that we're going to have. It's going to be, that's going to say, it's going to show a source for saying a bracha on something that you smell. That's our, you're special. You have to say a bracha on something that you smell. And the way he presents it is that the same way you're not allowed to eat a food or a drink without, Ariel is here. The same way you can't eat a food, right? Yaron has a drink in his hand. Ariel has a drink in his hand. The same way it's forbidden to have the drink without a bracha. You have to say a bracha before you have the drink. So too, it's forbidden. No. It's forbidden to smell things that require a bracha. And if you smell those items that you're supposed to recite a bracha without saying the bracha, you smell the samim, and you don't say bracha on the samim, you're doing something wrong, because that's a benefit. You're having a pleasure, and certain pleasures in life, the Chachamim said you're supposed to say a bracha before you have that pleasure. They did not say before you take a shower you have to say a bracha. They don't say before you put some oils on your hands, you have to say a bracha. They don't say before you turn on a light. Only on Motzei Shabbat, only on Saturday night, before you turn on a light, you have to go, Motzei Shabbat, sorry, when you light the candle, the Havdalah candle, you say a bracha. But you don't say a bracha every time you put on a light in a room. So good. So that's we're gonna have to look. It's a good question because I'll tell you what we're gonna tell you what by the end of today's class we'll see what the issues might be, and then we'll have to continue it next week to get to the bottom of it. The same way you understand you can't go ahead and eat without a bracha, you can't smell certain things without a bracha. It's forbidden. I can't smell samim without a bracha. Hadassim. I can't smell hadassim. You know, a lot of people think, what's that? Smell a hadas. But if I know I'm about to smell a hadas. No. So we're going to explore regarding the perfume. But we got the two different things. There's certain things that are clear. The perfume is something that is a more difficult question. And then we have to do more, we'll see what the possible issues might be, and then we'll have to come to a conclusion. But regarding, there's certain things that are not so complicated. Hadassim. If you're going to go ahead and you're going to smell hadas, what's the bracha before you smell hadassim? Say it again. I'd say bisamim. That's the bracha on hadassim, and you're not allowed to smell it. You hear that, Akiva? You're not allowed to smell it without saying a bracha. Asur, meaning this to recognize this idea that it's asur. It's like that's how the Aruch HaShulchan. It's like eating in certain sense. But in certain senses, we have some differences. Now, and he explains beautifully. Eating food and drinking are items that enter within your body. It enters your body, and because it enters, that's the type of pleasure that enters in your body that the Chachamim said you say a bracha on. Smell also. You smell it, it goes inside, you're smelling it. And therefore, they also said, smell, you have to say a bracha. But items, when you go ahead and you bathe, you wash, you turn on a light, those pleasures are outside of you. They're not inside your body. And therefore, it doesn't come inside, and therefore the Chachamim did not require you to say a bracha on those type of pleasures. But since it is a pleasure that's not as strong as eating or drinking. Eating or drinking is a stronger level pleasure than what? Than smelling. So if you have in front of you a food and you have bisamim, let's say on the table, you have your orange juice on the table and you have bisamim on the table. And now what bracha should you say first? Should you say a bracha on the orange juice first? Shahakol. Or should you say a bracha on the hadassim first? Which comes first? Remember, we had a lot of gemarot, but there's certain order, hierarchy of how you have mezonot comes before hadamah, right? Hadamah comes before shakol. So what is the law when it comes to bisamim on the table, and I have hadassim on the and I have a drink on the table? So I would say the bracha on the drink first, because the drink is a higher level. It's more chashuv. It's a higher level pleasure. I'll say a bracha on drink. And it's interesting that even in the Havdalah, when you make Havdalah Motzei Shabbat, what bracha comes first? The Gefen, and then the bracha on the Psamim, right? Psamim comes after the Gefen. And also he says, what do you say? Okay, we're going to drink it at the end. But the bracha, good morning, oh, look who's here. Oh, Nathan. Achatan. Well, shalom. We're talking about the phenomenon. We're talking about we have a row of chatanim. This is the chatan, the whole area. He's also he's engaged. So we'll call him a chatan also. We're talking about different pleasures that the Chachamim said that before you go ahead and have the pleasure, you have to say a bracha. You have to say a bracha before you eat, before you drink. And also there are many things, certain things that before you smell, certain spices. If you want to smell a spice, you have to say a bracha, right? Samim, hadassim. Also, let's say you want to smell an etrog. Let's say someone brings me an etrog today, and I want to. So there's a special bracha to say it's Ashenosan the bracha on that. We'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara will say, we'll see exactly what the that's right, the payroll, right. The language of the bracha, the Gemara says, "Shenosan reach tov b'payro," that Hashem has given great smell in fruit. We're recognizing, and we're recognizing that God is behind these pleasures. God gives us kosher pleasures. He gives us kosher pleasures, whether it's food, whether it's in smelling certain things, and there's a special now, because why do we make a different bracha when it comes to, because a fruit that's made for eating purposes, mainly, we don't say the bracha bori minei b'samim, because it's the point of the fruit is not for the primary function of an etrog is to eat. Primary function of the fruits that have a nice smell is to eat. So therefore, you're not going to say that he creates different types of fragrances, but that's not what the purpose why this was created wasn't for the fragrance. It's a side benefit, It's a good, it's a multi-purpose, But the main purpose of the side benefits, the side benefit, we recognize that, and we say the bracha. We say bracha on that side. The language of the Gemara is. We'll see exactly what the exact text in the Sidurim. You see, there's in the art school Siddur. Let's see if they have one here. But that's basically the text of the bracha. Okay, so that's what you need to do on payroll. But now, like we said, but the pleasure of a smell is not equal to the level of eating or drinking. Eating and drinking, when you actually goes into your body, is stronger than something, a smell that goes into your body. Therefore, there's a bracha before you eat, and there's a bracha after you eat. Right? If you have an ounce of a solid, you say a bracha after you had an ounce of a solid. You had 3 ounces of a liquid, you had a few ounces of liquid, you say a bracha after you had 3 ounces, the bracha achlona. Yes. Very good. I'll tell you what. I'll save it something. What? It's svei. It's svei, like borim minei b'samim, right? Borim. And now there's a third bracha. Again. No, there's 4 brachot we're gonna have. Wait, we're gonna have borim minei b'samim. When do you say minei b'samim? When do you say that bracha? Minei b'samim. But you should know what to say. Anytime you smell it. If today someone gives you psamim, Nathan, I want you to smell this psamim. You have to say bracha. It's not only a Motzei Shabbat deal. I mean, the responsibility to go ahead and you Motzei Shabbat, you're supposed to make sure to smell psamim Motzei Shabbat. Meaning, Motzei Shabbat is a mitzvah for you to go ahead and make sure that on Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, you're supposed to go ahead and what? Say a bracha psamim. On Sunday night, you have no mitzvah. But if you want to smell the psamim, you have to say a bracha. How do you like that? And, there's someone said, like there's somebody here in the shul. I mean, I think Daniel of Shalom, I think they said he would carry psamim with him. And he wants to make sure make sure he has to make 100 brachot a day, totally. So he would make a bracha on the psamim. Yes.
And this is the bracha we have
here. Very good. So that's another different bracha. So here, there's 3 brachot. They're missing the 4th bracha. We'll see where with the 4th bracha. He brings the 3 brachot. Now, see the way they didn't bring the Nasan Reach Tov B'Peirot. What happened to that one? And not Reach Tov, they're missing it over here. So that you're going to tell them on the next publication. The next publication, you got to tell them that they have to add that to the Sephardi Siddur. So they have 3 out of the 4. Meaning they have 3 out of the 4 brachot first of all, we have to thank them and come for all the things that they didn't make a mistake. They didn't leave out. And then, in life as a married man, you always got to look at the glasses, look at the full, the expression, guys, is the glass half full or half empty. The guys who are smart look at the positive things in life. Say the glass is half full. People that are not smart, they say the glass is half empty. They focus on the things that they don't have, things that, instead of looking at things that they have. That's the big mistake. Be happy with what you got. And that's Ezehu Ashir, who's a rich man, Samech B'chelko. If you're happy with what you got, Samech B'chelko. Look at there was a rabbi in the Gemara that they had a situation. His wife wasn't such a great lady, but he said, I'm happy. It's enough that she saves me from sin. That's what the rabbi said. That she protects me from sin because I'm married to her. As a result of being a married man, I don't have bad thoughts, and my mind is clear. She saves me from sin, so I'm happy. Meaning, obviously, nobody wants to have that. Should be the only thing that he has good thing to say about his wife is that she saves me from sin. Right? Am I clear or not clear? But it just shows you that the rabbi had that, even though she wasn't good, she wasn't a good wife. I don't know. There was one lady in the Gemara that everything she said the opposite. Whatever she said, he said she did the opposite. But yet there are people that are able to look at the positive, the qualities. So, but getting back to over here, they quote this idea that the same way the rabbi said it's forbidden to benefit to eat without a bracha, it's forbidden. It's not like people make. Yes. Well, of course, you want a funny story.
Always yelling at him, always giving him the hardest time on earth. And he was always fighting, conflict. So he went to see his rabbi. He told him, Rabbi, my wife is driving me crazy. Every time I ask you, always against what I say, always trying against you, always screaming, giving me a hard time. It's impossible. He told him, listen, it's your test in life. What you have to do, just swallow it, accept everything, and because of this, you're gonna have the best olam haba. So for real, say yeah, no problem. He goes home, his wife trying to turn the fire. No worries, whatever you want. After a few days, she started, what's going on? I don't recognize him. Everything I say, he went to him and she went to him and said, how come you're so nice? I said, listen, spoke with my rabbi. He said, if I accept everything you want, I'm gonna be, and I don't get angry at you. I resent from getting angry. I'm gonna get the best olam haba. I said, okay. Next day he comes home. She prepares him best table, best breakfast. She takes care of him, take off his jacket, like 5-star service. After a few days, he goes back to her and say, tell me something. How come you're all of a sudden so nice? He goes, no, because if you do this, you're gonna get olam haba. You like this one?
Sammy, you need
Did
some
you like
chair?
this one?
Very good. So they had enough people for the Kaddish? Yes. But you know what? Hopefully, according to how long the prayer is, how long the brachot will be even longer. Hopefully that a long davening will be long brachot. A lot of blessings will come. Hopefully. See, we gotta always look at the positive. That's the key. The key in marriage, by the way, we have Chatanim is being positive. Look at positive. Don't being a positive person. That's a key. And also always give the benefit of the doubt. Always, ayin tova. Always look with a good eye to what your wife does or says or acts or what she doesn't do. You always have to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's true. Now, so we were saying, the point is like this. The point is there are three brachot. There are three brachot that are listed here. One is bori minei b'samim. One is bori isvei b'samim. Isvei b'samim is on a plant. If a plant that has a nice smell, you say the bracha bori isvei b'samim. So when do you say minei? Minei, if it's something that has a beautiful smell, that's not a plant, that's not from a tree, or rather from other sources. Even from some animals, certain parts, something from animals, they would have a certain smell, beautiful smell. Yes, which one?
Oh, Shover or Yevim, Be'aminim, but sometimes it says Zedim.
Right, and if you look at some books, it says Zevim. Now that beracha, it's a very good point. That beracha was an add-on. That, Rabbi, you know that, right? That beracha was an add-on to our
I
tefillah.
mean, originally it was 18 brachot.
If you're not sure, call me, I'll tell you about it.
Then the rabbis added.
We fact check. Fake news. We fact check.
The rabbis added because they had a lot of slanderers, a lot of informants, a lot of people snitching to the government, causing a lot of problems. So
in
they
our
added
community,
them.
without to mention names, there was a situation years back where there was something that he ratted on somebody. And when they had this beracha that was added specifically because they wanted to put this person in what they call cherem. Right, Rabbi, you know cherem. And yes. And so this beracha was a beracha that our Rabbanim added.
Time of the Gemara, all the way back.
In case situations like where somebody would rat out another Jew.
Mr. Dukim, these are also part of the people.
Part of it.
Right, those also the
But
people.
this specific beracha in our community is, it's whatever, not to mention again name, but this beracha is known. Our beracha, the whole tefillah is called what?
Shmones, 18 brachot.
So this is the 19th beracha. And this beracha was an add-on. It's not really considered part of the.
But now it became, now it has a status of Shmones, and all the laws of Shmones are exactly the same. It took on, because of this situation, also because of the Siddukim, people who only believe in.
Not sure about anything.
Yeah, and thank you. And these were also the informants, these type of people. Yes. So now getting back to the point.
I gotta go run shots one more time.
Yes. Chodesh Tov, Sammy. But again, what the point is that since the benefit of Chodesh Tov, also if you have a mix between an herb from a plant and a thing from a tree. Let's say you have herb herb means a plant. Let's say if you have, let's say, a hadassim comes from a tree, which the proper bracha is before you smell hadassim is Baruch Atah Hashem Borei Asei B'Samim. We thank God that He creates wood as fragrances. He created this fragrance of a wooden fragrance of hadassim. It's an amazing thing that we recognize the pleasures that God has given to us. We don't just take it for granted. We recognize, we give a thanks to it. That's why you have to also thank your wife also for everything. You know what I'm saying? You have to be appreciative, complimentary. And then if you have a mix of hadassim and a plant, an herb, and on a plant, the bracha is Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Chalam, Borei Isvei B'Samim. You created Isvei, like a plant, like Sati a sev b'sadcha, a growth, a grass, a rose. So we'll see in the Gemara also. What class is that considered? What is that considered? We'll see in the Gemara. We'll see about that. So if you have a mix of both, something from the tree and something from the ground, from the plant, that's where you'll say the bracha yaron is borei minei b'samim. Borei minei b'samim means we thank God for creating different types of fragrances. Because we have a fragrance from a tree and a fragrance from the ground. When they come together, you say borei minei b'samim. Or if you're not sure, by the way, anytime you have to leave it, this is not Iran, by the way. Anytime you, usually we end 9:15, but we started very late. So we end 9:30 today, 9 minutes. Yes. You just want to say, so if you're not sure whether it's from tree or whether it's plant, that's when you say borei minei b'samim. Like with Shako, if you're not sure what bracha, so if you're not sure what it is, you say minei b'samim. And therefore, we said yesterday an amazing idea in the Ashkenaz community. Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, we always say minei b'samim no matter what we use, because a lot of people are not knowledgeable, and if they'll start being specific, then the person who doesn't know will think every time you say that specific bracha, they don't realize there are differences in what you use, and they'll make mistakes. Therefore, we just say borei minei b'samim. Right. He wanted to say, I'd say this something, because you know what happened? He asked the question. He asked somebody, and a learned person, and the learned person said, I say, what did they use by the wedding? Remember? Right, exactly. But he would ask, your grandfather's a very fine person, and he asked, what's the bracha on this? So there was a Sephardi man, I saw he asked a Sephardi person as well. And the person said, since it's from wood, you say, I say b'samim. The man gave the right, that answer that, but maybe the one who he was corrected to say, then someone corrected him to say more minei b'samim, because I presume maybe they're under the opinion that people are not gonna, if you, but if you're not sure, and the person who corrected, maybe he felt that the custom is on such a thing, maybe he felt that for whatever reason, either he felt that the item was a minei b'samim, or he had some other reason why he said minei b'samim, or maybe his custom, his community is minei b'samim. So I'm not sure, whatever, could ask the person who corrected him, but I hope your grandfather was all right. I think he was all right about it. Everybody meant well, and everybody's, but I think that's why it's not so simple. It's not so simple, the proper bracha on these things. Main thing is, when it comes to this thing, is to say the bracha. And I just want to say one more point. A lot of people, even listen, if I want to smell an esrog today, I have to make a special bracha on the esrog. Shenos and reach tov b'peirot, right? That was the. You didn't find it in it, but we have it in the Gemara. Because if you don't have, again, we don't have samim. We didn't obligate. It's part of. Right. But you're right. On Motzei Shabbat, it's part of the Havdalah, because Motzei Shabbat why do you have to take Samim Motzei Shabbat? Because on Shabbat you had an extra neshama. You had a neshama yetera, and that neshama leaves after Shabbat. That whole extra soul leaves, and therefore you're missing something. But to fill the void, we have some spice. We smell a spice. That's why we have Samim Motzei Shabbat, right? What do you want to say, Alan? If you don't know if it's atzei, that's what. But it's Ashkenazim, not the Sfardim. Sfardim are more specific. Sfardim are not what? On everything you'll have, even hadassim you'll do a minute. It's not called bracha vatala. Bracha vatala means if bracha vatala would mean when you're supposed to say atzei, because it's wood and you call it grass, you call it that would be a bracha vatala. If something is wood and you call it grass, something is grass and you call it wood. Meaning if you say atzei when you're supposed to say isvei, or you say isvei, atzei, that's bracha vatala. But if you say borim minei b'samim, it's never levatala. Right, but as Sardim, they're more specific. Technically, the way that, at least according to the Yalkut Yosef, could be there are different opinions, and it could be that's what the rabbi over there said, say the general bracha. But the Yalkut Yosef says it depends. Look what you're using. If you're using hadassim, you say atzei b'samim. God, if you're using some grass, you'll say isvei b'samim. That's what he says. If you get credit. If you do, if you say shakol, because shakol is a generic, even something is hadama, you're supposed to say hadama. But if you didn't say hadama on it, you said a shakol. Shakol is not a contradiction to hadama. Shakol means everything. Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much for coming, Nathan.
Pre-minyan, was that our conversation? Like all this?
Say it again.
Like before minyan? Like
What, they have the class again?
It's early.
It might be 6:45. I don't know if people are ready for 6. Yeah, but also my concern would be I don't want the 630 million people to feel that maybe we're taken away from them. That might be a little. I don't know if that's a concern or not. I'm saying that that's the little issue would be if we would make the class at 6:45.
45 would be nice.
No.
But now they made the minyan at 6:30 and 7:30 is the minyan.
You're saying till 8:30 anyways, right? you're saying so.
8:30.
9:15. So you do 6:45 till 7:30 the class, pray 7:30, and you add 8:15. 9:15, not 8:30.
It's something to think about. But you should,
I'm just distracted.
no, you're good, Nathan. Yeah. Shosha Chodesh Tov, everybody. Belina there. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah. Well, yeah. Especially, I said, yeah, there's an interesting halacha question regarding etrog on Sukkot, which I should have clarified. Remind me to clarify for them that etrog on Sukkot. Am I allowed to make a bracha on the etrog on Sukkot? On a regular day, today I could. So Sukkot, there's a question. I can't eat the etrog, but the question is, am I allowed to smell the etrog on Sukkot? You hear the question? I'm gonna get the Shulchan Aruch.
We're like praying and we smell what's coming out, right? But like this, when we were smelling, we know bracha. I don't know if it was right to do that, but
So it says that on Sukkot, you should not smell the etrog. Why shouldn't you smell the etrog? Because there's a question whether you need to say a bracha on Sukkot when you smell the etrog. Why? Because the etrog is given for the purpose of what? On Sukkot, the purpose of the etrog is to use for the mitzvah. It's designated for the mitzvah. So maybe you should not use it for other things besides mitzvah. And therefore you shouldn't use it, and therefore maybe you have no right to benefit for smelling it on Yom Tov. And if you would smell it, you would not say a bracha on Yom Tov. Or that's one possibility. The other possibility is that you have a right to smell it. Let's see what it says. Tough, and therefore let's see how it's presented here in the Shulchan Aruch. Let's see, it's over here. The Shulchan Aruch says esrog shel mitzvah. You see, it's interesting. The Shulchan Aruch makes a difference. Says hadassim during the time of Sukkot, you're not allowed to smell the hadassim. Why? Because hadassim are made, the Shulchan Aruch Tov Reish Lim Gimel. Hadassim are made to smell. That's the whole purpose of hadassim. And all 7 days of Sukkot, they are designated not for the mitzvah, for lulav, and therefore you can't go ahead and use it for some other purpose. However, etrog, it's mainly the main purpose in general. Etrog is for eating purposes, and during Sukkot, what you're not allowed to do is not allowed to eat that etrog during Sukkot. You have to use it for what? It's designated for be taken as an etrog. But the only thing we said that you can't use, the thing that we're not doing on Sukkot is we're not eating the etrog. But you can smell it. But there's a question some say whether you say the bracha nosein reach tova perot. Some say because it's not made for smell now, because it's mitzvah. I mean, he said you could smell it, but meaning the purpose of the etrog during the holiday is to use for the mitzvah of Sukkot, and therefore maybe you shouldn't say a bracha. And some say you could say a bracha. So therefore, the Shulchan Aruch says, since there's a machloket, if you say a bracha on smelling the etrog during the holiday time, you should refrain from smelling it. Don't smell it. The etrog. That's if you did, no, I would say it should be a suffix bracha. If you smell the etrog, it should be a suffix bracha, and suffix bracha l'kula. That's what I would say. Let's see the Yalkut Yosef. Yalkut Yosef. He says Yalkut Yosef in
The
Sim-
rabbi on.
Tuf Resh Nun Gimel.
He's for the Adas, and it's imperfect, because the Adas of the is formed Baracha on smelling. Like you said, the purpose of this eat it. So for sure, it's not the same as the Adas. The Adas
Right.
is probably forbidden to smell it on a.
Right, Hadass is forbidden to smell during Sukkot. He says, Hadass, he
Because
said,
the first purpose is to smell it.
right,
And the purpose is to eat it.
right. And he says, Esrog, the Yalkut Yosef says, in Simon Tov Resh Nun Hey, Esrog Shel Mitzvah, since it's made in generally, Esrog is for eating, and now Sukkot, now we say you can't eat the Esrog on Sukkot. But maybe you could smell it, but you're allowed to smell it. But he says, the poskim have an argument. Should you say a bracha on smelling the etrog during Sukkot? Some say, since now it's really the purpose of the etrog now is for the mitzvah of Sukkot, and therefore you should not say the bracha. Anosin reach tov b'peirot. Anosin reach tov b'peirot. You're thanking Hashem for the smell of the peirot, but during this time, this peirot is not here for smelling purpose. The focus of the fruit is for the mitzvah. Some say you could say the bracha. Now he says, therefore he says, stay away from smelling it. And he says, interesting. Let's say you had a different fruit that had a nice smell. And if you said it, you could say, if you say the bracha, no say reach tov, if you said the reach tov peirot on the other fruit, then once you said on the other fruit, then you could smell the what? If you really want to smell an etrog, so if you say a bracha on the other fruit, then you could smell the etrog. And like that. And he says also on Shabbat, on Sukkot, the etrog is not muksa. Because technically you're allowed to smell an etrog. The etrog is not muksa. How do you like that? And there's some, they quote Rabbi Al Yoshev, who was machmir not to move an esrog on Sukkot, not on because our custom is not to smell the etrog. And Avad Yosef disagrees with Rabbi Yashav. And he holds that since Ikkeladina, you could move it, and therefore, and because since you could, if you want to make a bracha on a different fruit, you can have the etrog in mind, and therefore, he says it's not muksa. So he said the etrog is not muksa on Yom Tov. Okay, so that now comes out an very interesting halacha. Now nobody look. I don't think people smell hadassim on Yom Tov, but Motzei Shabbat people make they make asib samim or moni samim on hadassim. I've seen hadassim given out for Motzei Shabbat, but the issue is on Sukkot there are people that like to smell the etrog, and it would come out if they want to smell it they shouldn't smell it because it's a suffix if you need to say a bracha on it. But if a guy says, I need to smell my esrog, please don't smell the esrog. No, I want to smell esrog. Don't say a bracha on it. Smelling it, don't say a bracha. But really, you should not smell it because you're getting into that question if you say a bracha. Have a great day, everybody. Shabbat shalom, good Shabbos, and Chodesh Tov.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Shabbos Akiva, good Shabbos Morris, Chodesh Tov, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Chodesh Tov.
Take care, you
Hey,
too.
Mr. Morris.
How are you guys?
All right. Good
Take care.
Shabbos.
Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos.
Morris Akiva, did you get the Parsha email last night? Shabbat shalom.
I printed it out,
Yes.
Rabbi. No,
Let me see.
Rabbi, I printed it out already.
What time you send it?
Great, good. Enjoy it.
What
All
time
right.
is Rabbi?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Morris. Take care. What did you say, Akiva?
What time did they send it?
I presume
Yes.
late last night or early this morning. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't send it. The guy sent it. You look it
Yeah,
up.
they sent it last night. Yeah.
What time
I do really enjoy reading your Pasha email, Rabbi. It's very, very, very good.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.